What if I told you that one of the most powerful tools to reduce your child's anxiety is something that they're already doing every second of every day? Hi, I'm Taryn Bovier, parent coach and founder of The Parent Thing, where we talk about early childhood development, emotional intelligence, and neurosomatic intelligence in a way that changes how you parent. Right now, children are experiencing unprecedented levels of stress. Studies across Europe and North America show rising rates of anxiety symptoms in children under the age of 12. Even young kids report feeling overwhelmed, struggling with sleep, emotional regulation, and concentration. Anxiety isn't just a teen problem anymore. It's showing up in primary school classrooms, it's showing up at bedtime, and around the dinner table. Breathwork, simply defined, is the intentional control of breathing patterns to influence the nervous system. And here's an analogy I love. If your child's nervous system is like a car engine, breath is the steering wheel and the brake pedal. It's the fastest way to slow things down, shift gears, and regain control. Today, we're talking about the power of breathwork for children, why it works, what's happening in their brains and bodies, and simple techniques you can start using immediately to reduce stress and anxiety at home. Before I get into teaching techniques, we have to understand why breathwork works. When a child feels anxious, their nervous system shifts into an F response. So fight, flight, freeze, all the Fs. Their heart rate increases, their muscles tighten, cortisol, which is the primary stress hormone, rises. The thinking part of their brain, the prefrontal cortex, goes offline. You've seen it. They can't reason, they can't listen, they can't just calm down. In moments like this, the body feels like a scary place to be, and they don't feel safe or secure. What's actually happening underneath the surface is a full body survival response. The amygdala, which is the brain's alarm system, detects danger, whether that danger is real, like a loud noise, or whether that danger is perceived, like a spelling test, social rejection, or change in their routine. Once the alarm is triggered, the brain sends signals to the body to prepare for survival. Blood flow shifts away from the thinking brain and towards the larger muscles. Breathing becomes shallow and rapid, and the digestive system slows down. Even vision can narrow sometimes. To a child, this doesn't feel like, oh, I'm anxious. It feels like something is wrong. Their chest might feel tight, their stomachs might hurt, their hands might shake, their thoughts race or go blank. And because children don't yet have the language or brain maturity to interpret these sensations, the experience can feel overwhelming and confusing. This is why logic doesn't work in these moments. You can't reason with someone out of a survival state. When the sympathetic nervous system is activated, the body prioritizes protection over perspective. It's not defiance, it's not manipulation, it's biology. Here's something crucial to understand. When a child's body feels unsafe, the world feels unsafe. Safety isn't just about the external environment, it's about what's happening internally. Until their nervous system receives cues of safety, they cannot access calm, they cannot access connection or learning. That's why understanding this physiological response is the foundation for helping children regulate. Because before we teach behavior, we must restore safety. Initiating regulation with breathing is powerful because breathing is one of the only automatic body functions that we can consciously control. When a child slows their breath, they stimulate the vagus nerve, which signals safety to the brain. This activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and regulate state of the body, of the nervous system. In simple terms, slow breathing tells the brain that we are safe. And once safety is restored, regulation becomes possible. Intentional breathing is one of the best ways to regulate the nervous system. But knowing that it works isn't enough. The real magic happens when we give children practical, playful tools they can actually use. So let's talk about how we can make breath work simple and accessible. Breathwork for kids must be concrete, visual, and engaging. If it feels like a lecture, it's not going to land. So I have 3 powerful techniques that you can use to help them regulate. We'll call the first one balloon belly breathing. So have your child place their hands on their belly and imagine that they are blowing up a balloon inside their stomach. Inhale slowly through the nose for 4 counts, expanding the belly. They should be able to feel their bellies get bigger, or rather feel the balloon get bigger. And then exhale through the mouth for 4 counts, deflating the balloon. This encouraged diaphragmatic breathing instead of shallow chest breathing. And here's why it matters. Most anxious breathing happens high in the chest. It's quick, it's shallow, and inefficient. Chest breathing reinforces the stress response because it signals urgency to the brain. Diaphragmatic breathing, also called belly breathing, does the opposite. When the diaphragm fully expands and contracts, it stimulates the vagus nerve, which helps activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the part responsible for rest, digestion, and regulation. In simple terms, belly breathing tells the brain we're safe enough to slow down. To help your child really understand it, you can have them lie down and place a small stuffed animal or book or toy on their belly, and as they inhale, they try to make the toy rise, and as they exhale, they watch it gently fall. This visual feedback helps them see their breath in action, which makes the exercise more concrete and engaging. You can also adjust the counts depending on your child's age. Younger children may do better with a 3-count inhale, 3-count exhale. Older children can extend the exhale slightly longer than the inhale. For example, you inhale for 4 and exhale for 6, which deepens the calming effect because the longer exhales increase the vagal tone. Another way to help them is to model it with them. Sit beside them and exaggerate your own slow breathing. Let them hear your steady inhale and long exhale. Children co-regulate through rhythm and connection. Your calm breath becomes a template their nervous system can mirror. And remember, the goal is not perfection, the goal is practice. Even 2 minutes of belly breathing a day can gradually retrain a child's nervous system to shift out of stress more easily. Over time, this simple balloon breath becomes an internal tool that they can access at school, before a test, during conflict, bedtime, all of these without needing you to prompt them. The second breathing technique, smell the flower, blow out the candle. So pretend to smell a beautiful flower, which is a slow inhale through the nose, then gently blow out a candle, a long exhale through the mouth. The extended exhale is key. It's what signals calm to the nervous system. What makes this technique so effective is its simplicity and sensory imagery. Children naturally respond to imagination. When you invite them to smell a flower, you're cueing a slow, steady inhale through the nose. Nasal breathing warms and filters the air, and it naturally slows the pace of the breath. Then, when they blow out the candle, you guide them into a controlled, longer exhale, and that's where the real regulation happens. The exhale is directly connected to the calming branch of the nervous system. A longer, slower exhale stimulates the vagus nerve and reduces the heart rate. You might even notice their shoulders drop slightly or their facial muscles soften after just a few rounds. That's their body shifting out of survival mode. You can deepen this exercise by adding gentle structure. For example, inhale for a count of 3 while smelling the flower, exhale for a count of 5 while blowing out the candle, and repeat that 3 or 4 times. If your child is very activated, start with shorter counts and gradually lengthen the exhale as they settle. The key is softness. We're not forcefully blowing out birthday candles. We're gently flickering the flame. You can also make it interactive. Ask them what kind of flower they're smelling. Is it a rose? Is it lavender? Something magical and sparkly. The more vivid the imagery, the more engaged their brain becomes. And engagement helps anchor attention away from anxious thoughts and back into the body. This technique is especially helpful in transitions. Before school, before a performance, after conflict, or at bedtime. It's quick, it's discreet, and a child can use it quietly at their desk without drawing any attention. Perhaps more importantly, it reframes calming down as something they do and not something that you demand of them. Instead of saying calm down, you're saying, let's smell the flower. That subtle shift turns regulation into a shared, safe experience rather than a correction, and that makes all the difference. The third one is 5-finger breathing. What you're going to do is have them trace one hand with a finger from the other hand. So they inhale as they trace up and exhale as they trace down a finger. Inhale as they go up the next finger. Exhale as they go down the other finger. This adds a tactile element, which anchors attention and increases regulation. What makes 5-finger breathing especially powerful is that it combines 3 regulating elements at once. It's the breath work, its movement, and its touch. When a child traces their fingers, they're engaging their sense of touch and proprioception, which is their awareness of where their body is in space. That sensory input helps ground them in the present moment instead of being pulled into anxious thoughts. As they slowly trace up a finger and inhale, then trace down and exhale, their body begins to settle into a rhythm. Rhythm is regulating. It's predictable, and predictable repetitive movement sends cues of safety to the brain. The brain loves patterns, and this simple up and down motion creates one. There's also a focus component here. Anxiety often pulls children into what if thinking. 5-finger breathing gently redirects the attention to something concrete and physical. Instead of spiraling thoughts, they're concentrating on up, breathe in, down, breathe out. That shift alone can reduce intensity. You can guide it in fun ways as well, like we're climbing up a mountain, you need to breathe in. We're sliding down the mountain, you need to breathe out. You repeat it for all 5 fingers, and if needed, you can switch hands. For younger children, you can turn it into a story. Climbing up a rainbow, we're sliding down a waterfall, tracing a magic path. For older children, you can frame it as a quiet focus tool that they can use at school, during tests, or in social situations without anyone noticing. Another benefit is that it gives their hands something to do. When kids are anxious, their bodies often feel restless. This technique channels that energy into something structured and soothing rather than fidgety or explosive. And because their breath is paired with movement, it's easier for many children than simply sit still and breathe. It meets them where they are developmentally. Over time, 5-finger breathing becomes more than just a coping strategy. It becomes a portable regulation tool that they can carry with them everywhere. No equipment, no apps, just their own 2 hands and the ability to guide themselves back to calm. These techniques are simple, they are quick, they don't require special equipment, but their impact is profound. However, technique alone is not the whole story. The way we introduce breathwork matters just as much as the exercise itself. If we only pull breathwork out during meltdowns, children may resist it. It can start to feel like a punishment or a correction. Instead, we normalize it. Practice during calm moments. Do it before bedtime. Use it in the car. Make it part of your morning routine. When breathwork becomes familiar in regulated states, it becomes accessible in the dysregulated states. Something I'm always going to come back to is the power of co-regulation. Your calm breath helps regulate your child's nervous system. When you slow your breathing and they can see or hear it, their body mirrors yours. Breathwork becomes connection, not correction. This shifts breath from being a technique to being a relational tool that maintains connection, and that's the goal. Here's what all of this means for you going forward. Your child does not need more lectures about calming down. They need tools that work with their biology, not against it. Breath is free. Breath is always available. Breath is powerful. After today's episode, I want you to choose just one technique and practice it once a day during a calm moment. Keep it playful, keep it light, and remember that regulation is a skill, not a personality trait. It can be taught. If you want help integrating breathwork and nervous system regulation into your parenting in a way that feels aligned and practical, I'm offering a free 30-minute session. Simply email me to schedule it and we'll map out a strategy that fits your family. My email address will be in the show notes. When we teach our children how to breathe through stress, we're not just calming moments, we're building resilient nervous systems for life. And that's the parenting.
Thank you for tuning into the parenting. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you have any questions, feedback, or